I'm Joe Harrington, and welcome to Transit Works, brought to you by Palm Tran Public Transportation. Palm Tran has launched a new transportation service to help everyone better get around the Glades region. We'll tell you more about that in a moment, but first, here's Clinton B. Forbes with the Palm Tran Executive Director's Report.
Thanks, Joe. I'm here near Atlantic Avenue and Congress in Delray Beach, where Palm Tran is expanding its South County bus facility. This project will allow us to service more buses and consolidate our administrative and management staff in one facility. I'm excited to share some renderings of what the building will look like. This project is almost entirely federally funded. The project also includes green features such as infrastructure for 9 electric bus charging stations, LED lighting in the bus parking area, charging stations for support vehicles in the parking lot. When the new building opens in 2020, we will have a new public meeting space and needed office space. Keep watching Transit Works for future updates on this project. Back to you, Joe.
Thanks, Clinton. And now here to tell us more about Go Glades is the Senior Manager of Paratransit at Palm Tran, Chad Hockman. Welcome, Chad.
Thanks, Joe.
You know, first off, tell us a little bit about what is Go Glades? So
Go Glades is a new pilot project that is operating in the Glades region. It is 4 deviated fixed routes. These buses operate on a schedule. But they do deviate off the route when requested 2 hours in advance, and they deviate up to a 3/4 mile radius. And so we're covering Belglade, Pahokee, and South Bay with these 4 routes.
And how can people find out route and schedule information for those particular routes?
People can find out information by going on palmtran.org. They can also pick up a fixed route rider's guide, and they can do that at a public library or on a fixed route bus, or they can call Palm Tran at 561-649-9838.
And that's also the number they call if they need to schedule a pickup or a drop-off, right? How does that work?
So 2 hours prior to your scheduled time, you call the number and you set up an appointment, and we actually pick you up at the curb. The vehicle will deviate and pick you up at the curb, and also then if you need a deviation back, it'll also drop you off. But you have to schedule that 2 hours in advance.
But what a great service, especially when we have such inclement weather sometimes here in South Florida.
Absolutely, and it's great. It's a great mobility option for people on Palm Tran Connection who could migrate over to using this Glade service, because those vehicles are ADA accessible, and they have wheelchair lifts, and the drivers are trained to help with those mobility devices.
You know, tell us a little bit about the vehicles for Go Glades. They're very distinctive. You'll recognize them right away.
They are. So they are a wrapped vehicle. They're blue, and they look nothing like our Palm Tran Connection vehicles, even though they're the same style of vehicle. It's been completely branded for the service. We're really excited. We also have the opportunity to buy 10 new vehicles for this service. And so those vehicles will be here in the next 4 months, and we're excited. They're going to be painted blue. They're going to have the same logos and the same designs, and it's going to actually provide a little bit better continuity of service for the Glades region.
You know, and a lot of people in our community, when they see these smaller types of vehicles that we're using for the Go Glades service, associate that with being the type of vehicle only for a disabled or senior citizen. But anybody can call and schedule this vehicle to come pick them up. Is that right?
That's correct, Joe. This service is for everyone.
You know, and why is it a great option to utilize this service? The Go Glades service serves a lot of locations that people would really want to go out there in the Tri-Cities region.
It does. It serves the Winn-Dixie. It serves the Social Security office, Quiet Waters, Pahokee City Hall. It really does, and it interlines with the Palm Tran fixed route, Route 40 and Route 47. And so it allows people more options and more mobility options. And the other thing that's really great about using the smaller vehicles is that those vehicles are able to navigate the roads. The roads are narrow, and they're very difficult for a 40-foot fixed route bus to navigate. So this, provides a little bit more flexibility and allows us to get in and out of the streets, and also to just provide better continuity for ridership out there.
You know, and Palm Tran launched this service on December 21st, 2018. Tell me about some of the feedback that Palm Tran has received already from residents out there in the Glades.
The ridership is good. It's a 1-year pilot project that's funded through FDOT, and so we've seen the people who are using the service really love it. It's an evaluation period that we have, and we really need to decide, where the service is going to go and what it's going to look like in the future. But as I said, it is a 1-year pilot project that's funded through FDOT, and so this allows us to do some evaluations, to look at the ridership numbers, and to decide, is the service that we designed, is it working? Is it, how do we shift it? What really makes it more valuable for the residents of the Glades region? And we want to provide access to opportunity for everybody, and so we want to make sure that we're doing that the most efficient manner. So, like I said, as being in a 1-year pilot project, we really need people to ride the service. We need to have strong ridership numbers. And we need to be able to evaluate, what this is going to look like. Because it is a 1-year pilot project, we need to make sure that the money that we're spending and the money that FDOT is, because they fully funded this project at $2.1 million for the first year, is really providing a valuable service out there, and that, it's being used.
And transit, I really like, is such an affordable option to get around our community. How much does it cost to ride Go Glades, and how much does it cost to have that vehicle actually deviate from its route and pick you up?
So it is only $1 to ride the Go Glades, and it's 50 cents when you request a deviation.
And these Go Glades vehicles also connect with other Palm Tran bus routes, is that right? So I could actually get on Go Glades, connect to a traditional Palm Tran vehicle, and get even further in the community.
That is correct. It connects with the 40 and 47.
And you mentioned a few of the places it goes. What are some of the destinations out there in the community that have been popular?
The Winn-Dixie Social Security office is good. We have strong ridership there. Quiet Waters generates a lot of ridership. And then the Pahokee route itself, the ridership is decent, but I think that we have some work to do with that route. We probably need to re-interline that, and so we're looking at that. That's the best part about a pilot project, is if it's not working, we have the flexibility to make changes.
And it was kind of an interesting story how Palm Tran named this service Go Glades. Tell us about, how did Palm Tran come up with the name Go Glades?
So Palm Tran did a contest, and naming contest for this new service. And so we took people, we had people submit names, and the Palm Tran executive leadership team voted on the names, and a teacher from South Bay came up with the name Go Glades, and so that's where that was just, when we saw it, we knew it was an instant, Go Glades, this is it, this is the naming, and it was an instant hit with us.
Absolutely, and I know there were 70 name submissions, so there were some good options out there.
There were some great options, yes.
Tell us a little bit about, what's ahead for this service and those communities.
As we move forward into the future with Go Glades, it's really about designing a system that works best for the region. And so with this ridership numbers and the evaluation at the 6-month mark, what is it that we need to do to best serve the Glades region? And is this deviated fixed route working? Is it a dial-a-ride service that better suits an on-demand system? Or is it some sort of hybrid in between? And so I think as we look at those ridership numbers, the ridership numbers are strong, but they're not where we would like them to be. When we talk about productivity and kind of passengers per hour, it's a little bit less than where we would like it to be. That's why we really encourage ridership on this. To be able to keep this service and maintain the service, we need people to ride it. And we also need to make sure that it's cost effective, and then it also interlines with the fixed route, because we have those goals that we want to be able to get the community, provide accessibility to everybody through the Glades region. So it's just really important to do the evaluation and then decide where we're going to go with it. But I'm excited because it's a new option for the citizens out there, and it also provides a little bit of more options for our connection riders, our ADA paratransit riders, so they can utilize the service as well. So it's exciting.
In addition to giving people mobility options, this new service from Palm Tran is actually having an economic impact out there, because Palm Tran actually really went out and hired local out there. Tell me a little bit about those efforts.
Yes, so this service is being operated by one of our contractors, MV Transportation, and they have an office that is in the Glades community. It's actually in Belglade, and they went out and they did job fairs, and they hired all employees that are operating in the Glades service, 21 new drivers in the Glades region. And so it really is stimulating the economic growth out there. And the drivers are great, and they connect with the community. And it really is a community transportation system out there. And it is something special and unique to Palm Tran and to Palm Beach County.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here, Chad. We really appreciated having you.
Thanks, Joe.
And coming up here on Transit Works, we're going to tell you about how to be a Palm Tran bus operator and why it's a rewarding career. Stay with us.
Every day we go about our lives driven by routine and blindfolded to the realities of the world around us. Our vision is clouded by the very normalcy we take for granted. Countless victims of human trafficking walk among us, seemingly invisible. Until now. The Blue Campaign provides a unified voice for those who oppose the heinous crime of human trafficking. Whether it's forced labor, domestic servitude, or the sex trade, it's time we open our eyes.
Sorry, I didn't even see you.
No one ever does.
Learn what you can do to help by visiting dhs.gov/bluecampaign.
Welcome back to Transit Works. I'm Joe Harrington. Being a Palm Tran bus operator is a very rewarding career, but you don't have to take my word for it. Please welcome to the show Joey Acevedo. And Joey, you are a bus operator for Palm Tran. We're so glad to have you here today.
How you doing, Joe?
You know, tell us a little bit about what your job is on a daily basis at Palm Tran.
Every day is a different task. You know, we're taking people back and forth to communities, to pantries, to work, school. We just providing transportation to the community and stuff like that.
You know, and I know safety is really at the heart of everything you do. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, this job is a very safety-sensitive job. You have to be very careful. We have kids coming out of school, people crossing the street, cars, bikers. We have all kind of moving. A lot of things are moving and happening at the same time, so you have to pay attention and be very careful.
Absolutely. And, you know, in addition to having that commitment to safety, one of the things that's great about you is you are a very committed person when it comes to customer service. Tell me a little bit about what you always do to deliver great customer service on those Palm Tran buses.
You always greet everybody with a smile. Good morning, how you doing? You try to provide the best service every day, even if you're having a bad day. Never let the passenger know that you're having a rough day. Every day is going to be good.
Absolutely. And in fact, you were honored for your commitment to safety and customer service recently by the Florida Public Transportation Association. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, one day I witnessed an accident. I stopped the bus. I did follow the proper measures to make sure we put the passengers' safety first. I got the proper help, and we was able to help the gentleman in need.
Yes, there was an individual who had actually been hit by a car, and you positioned the bus in such a way that kind of shielded that person until some help could get there, right?
Yes, definitely. I think it was our duty to get there, do what we had to do, and provide good service for this man. He needed the help, and we provided.
You know, and it's so amazing what some of the bus operators do out there when they witness something out on the streets here in Palm Beach County. You always take action and put the customer's safety first.
All the time.
And, you know, if someone's thinking about maybe a career as a Palm Tran bus operator, what would you tell them?
Tell them, apply. This is one of the best jobs in Palm Beach County. Just go get your CDL, and you'll be able to make a good future here.
Absolutely, and they can just easily apply at palmtran.org anytime. And this position has great benefits, right?
Yes, definitely. This is a good job, a union job with benefits, and you're going to make good money.
Absolutely, and you know, there's sort of a camaraderie among the bus operators too. Talk about that.
Definitely. Bus operators, we like family. One hurt, we all hurt. So we always try to make sure we look out for each other and help each other out whenever we need. And this is what Palm Tran is about.
Absolutely, and you know, you in particular recently were a big proponent of a food drive for federal workers during the government shutdown. You know, tell me a little bit about what you did.
Yes, definitely. We reached out to SEIU, our union at the job, and ATU together. We got all the co-workers to bring some food, either gift card for gas station, Walmart, somewhere where we can get the federal workers some kind of aid until they get some money back in their check.
Absolutely, and I know that those goods were delivered to the TSA agents at Palm Beach International Airport. It must feel really good to be able to help those people out.
Oh yes, definitely. Anytime that we could do something to help each other out, if one hurt, we all hurt.
You know, you didn't start off as a bus operator at Palm Tran. You have worn several hats at this organization. Tell me a little bit about your career at Palm Tran.
Yes, in my early days, I started as a paratransit driver, and then I worked my way up to working in the fuel aisle, and then from there I became a bus operator, and this is where I'm gonna finish my future here.
And you know, you really invested yourself and your career and your heart in Palm Tran, and Palm Tran has grown with you and helped you advance your career. What kind of skills does someone need to be able to sit in that driver's seat on one of those 40-foot Palm Tran buses?
Yes, you definitely have to be big on safety. You have to be disciplined. You have to have good communication skills, good customer service skills, and you got what it takes to be a bus operator.
You know, to me, it's very intimidating thinking of how big those buses are driving down Okeechobee Boulevard or one of these major streets, but you guys make it look so easy. How do you do that?
I mean, we just go out there and we just do it. We get in there and we don't look twice.
You know, what sort of safety tips do you keep in mind when you're on the road?
Make sure you keep your eyes moving. Make sure you're watching your mirrors. Make sure you're checking for every blind spot, and you know, always paying attention, always staying alert.
And when we train our drivers, and our drivers are very safe, sometimes it's the other vehicle's fault. For other people out there, what would you tell them about sharing the road with a Palm Tran bus?
Yes, it's a big bus. Sometimes give us some space when we put our signal lights, you know, give us some time to move over. The bus it doesn't move that fast, so it might take us a little time, but just work with us and share the road with us.
You know, is there a particular customer experience that comes to mind that sticks out over the years?
Yes, I usually have an older lady that gets on the bus, and she's always trying to go to the food pantry. And as time goes on, I see her she's getting older and older. So it is rewarding for me to help her out and kneel the bus and make sure she gets to the food pantries to get what she needs.
And when you say kneel the bus actually lowers down to the curb to make it easier for people to get on and off, right?
Yes.
And the bus is equipped with some other things to help people who might have mobility issues, right?
Yes, the bus has a ramp, and we also do tie-down wheelchairs and stuff like that, and walkers. So we're equipped to take anybody we can.
Absolutely. And what would you tell people who are watching and maybe they are intimidated by riding the bus, they've never done it before, they don't know how it works? What would you tell them to encourage them to, hey, try out public transportation?
Definitely. I tell them, park their car, get an all-day pass, and come ride the bus. It's a wonderful experience.
And so easy, you just go to Palm Tran's website and all the route and schedule information is there. They can call us too at 8414-BUS. And of course, if they happen to get on your bus, you are always friendly and able to help them get where they need to go, right?
Yes.
You know, any parting advice for anyone considering a career as a Palm Tran bus operator?
Don't wait, apply.
Wonderful. Thanks for being here today, Joey. It was a pleasure having you on Transit Works.
Thank you, Joe.
Coming right up after the break, we're going to tell you about Palm Tran Connection, what it is, what it isn't, and who's eligible. Stay close.
First time I met Morris, the door flew open and I got this larger-than-life personality talking at the top of his lungs. So I thought, we're definitely gonna be friends.
Oh, Dapper Leon?
Oh, no.
He's the highlight of my week.
I've known Mikhail and Jerome 6 months. You don't find many young people that want to be fooling around with us old folks.
I don't feel like I'm volunteering when I'm with Leon.
They'll call Miss Barbara, do you feel like having us hang out a little while? That's their word, hang out.
Just had a magnetic energy. Oh, I totally forgot. Hold on, let me get this for you.
I was kind of hoping that we'd get what we did out of it. It's even better than I imagined.
I said, you guys have no idea how I feel about you.
I'll come to the door with one meal and I'll walk away with a full heart.
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org.
America!
America!
America, let's do lunch.
And welcome back to Transit Works. I'm Joe Harrington. Palm Tran is about more than the big buses you see driving around the county. It also provides a service exclusively for disabled residents of the county, and it's called Palm Tran Connection. Here to tell us all about it is Mr. Lou Ferry from Palm Tran Connection. Thanks for being with us here, Lou.
Thanks, Joe. Happy to be here.
You know, first off, tell us a little bit about what is Palm Tran Connection?
Sure. Palm Tran Connection is the shared ride, door-to-door transportation system in Palm Beach County that's for the disabled community, the transportation disadvantaged, and seniors in the community. We schedule about 4,500 trips a day on over 200 routes on 250 county-owned vehicles.
And this is actually a door-to-door service, right? Tell me, what does that mean?
Yes, as opposed to the fixed route bus, which goes down one lane and picks people up on the curb. Actually, Palm Tran Connection will pick you up at your doors, which means that we'll pull up and the driver will help you from the door of the vehicle to the first floor of your residence or anywhere you need to go.
And it's really important that people are eligible for this service. Tell me who is eligible and who is not.
Sure. So the general community is not eligible for Palm Tran Connection. You actually have to fill out an application, and you generally have to have a disability that prevents you from using the fixed route bus, or below the poverty level, which would be transportation disadvantaged, or a senior to go to our DOS meal sites.
You know, and you referred to this as a shared ride earlier, but Palm Tran Connection is very different from Uber, from Lyft. Tell me why it's different.
Sure. So Uber and Lyft is actually, obviously for the general public, like a taxi service. So Palm Tran Connection, you have to be eligible to ride our service. You need to call either 7 days in advance or by 5 o'clock the day before you wish to travel. And you actually have to schedule that trip and give us the information as far as where you live, where do you want to go, and then actually on your way there, you might actually be with other riders, which is different than an Uber or Lyft.
And so that trip might take longer because it's not taking you directly to your destination.
True. Unlike a Uber or a Lyft, that shared ride system means like a fixed route bus. So you're sharing that ride with someone, which means that if you have a long trip from Palm Beach Gardens to Boca and it takes you 45 minutes to go in your car, we might actually be picking up people on the way down there. So that trip could take an hour and a half up to 2 hours, comparable to the fixed route ride.
You know, how much does it cost to ride, and why is Palm Tran Connection a good option for some in our community?
Sure. So for those that cannot get around, Palm Tran Connection might be their only option, and it's $3.50 per one way. You can actually pay with an exact change of $3.50 or pre-purchased tickets to ride.
You know, I think that one of the myths, though, is that our big buses cannot accommodate mobility devices or disabled citizens, but that's actually not true, right?
You're right. Actually, every fixed route bus is ADA accessible. All the bus operators are trained in ADA to help everyone out. So if you have an ADA card, if you're an ADA eligible rider for Palm Tran Connection, you can actually use the fixed route bus for free. So you need an ADA ID card. You can get that at 50 South Military Trail, Palm Tran Connection. You can call the number 561-649-9838, and we can get you set up for that. So any eligible Palm Tran Connection ADA rider can ride the bus for free. So instead of paying the $3.50 fare, you can get around the county free.
And I think one of the other things that the community doesn't realize with Palm Tran Connection is that there's not a set pickup time. It's actually a window when the vehicle might come and pick you up. Is that right? Explain to me how that works.
That's true. So if I have an appointment time of 10 a.m. and I call to reserve that trip, I might get a pickup window of 9 to 9:30, which means you need to be ready in the beginning of your window at 9 o'clock, and the driver has a half hour to show up. So from 9 to 9:30, the bus can show up, and then you need to be ready and waiting by the door or outside on the first floor level of wherever you are. And then the bus driver will come to the door, knock on the door, or look for you and make every attempt to find you, and then help you to the bus. So,
you know, you started to touch on it, but what are some just best practices, good tips for utilizing this service?
Sure. So be ready and waiting at the beginning of your window. Okay, have that exact the exact change in either $3.50 exact change or the pre-purchased ticket to ride. Have all the information when you're booking the trip, meaning the correct address, phone number, any cross streets that can help the driver find out where that place is.
You know, and there are some things that the driver will do, and there are some things they won't do for the customer. You know, give me some examples of both of those.
Okay, so the driver will assist you from your door to the door of the vehicle and back. They won't carry big packages for you. They'll assist you with that. You can bring a personal care attendant with you if you want. However, the driver does not act as that personal care attendant. So if you have a father or a mother that's going to an Alzheimer's community care or something like that, that driver does not act as a personal care attendant. The driver is just there to provide safe transportation to and from the home to that location. So if you need something more than just a driver that's trying to get you from point A to point B safely, then you need to be either with an escort or a personal care attendant.
And is Palm Tran Connection generally available throughout Palm Beach County?
So interestingly enough, the Palm Tran Connection is actually any destination within Palm Beach County you can actually get to with Palm Tran Connection. Unlike the fixed route bus, which only has those routes, Palm Tran Connection could go anywhere in Palm Beach County.
And does it connect to other transportation services in other counties?
Actually, yes. So Palm Tran Connection you can take to any tri-rail, which obviously can get you down south. But we also have a transfer point down south in Boca where you can actually pick up the TOPS or Broward County paratransit. So you can get down to Broward County.
You know, tell me a little bit about what the operators do to help secure mobility devices, make sure that when that individual is on the vehicle that they are being transported safely.
Sure. So all of our drivers are trained and have 120 hours of training. They have behind-the-wheel training, safety-sensitive training, disability training, things like that. So we make sure that if you have a mobility device, there's a lift. They can get you on the bus with a lift, or they can assist you on the stairs. But they have to use the 4-point Q-strain securement devices there. We secure any devices that they have: walkers, canes, wheelchairs. We also allow people to bring shopping carts if they need to. So in case they need to go shopping and need that. And so the drivers are very, very in tune with safety and making sure that trip goes well.
And you know, you've been with Palm Tran Connection a number of years. Do any stories stick out in your mind when a particular operator went above and beyond to help one of the clients?
Sure. Actually, I think every day we do that. Every day we make a difference in people's lives. If not for this independence through mobility with Palm Tran Connection, where we can get out and get people to be going to work. Just because they have a disability, that doesn't mean they don't work and they're not productive parts of society. And Palm Tran Connection, with all the trips that we schedule, we really get people out into the community to really take part in life, where otherwise they could be just in their home. And I've heard someone say that, especially Palm Tran Connection, transportation is the hinge which upon everything turns. Without transportation, it doesn't matter if you have free health care or you have the pantries giving away free food. If people can't get there, then they can't access those services. So Palm Tran Connection and Palm Tran Fixed Route and public transportation is so important in that.
You know, are there certain hours of operations or days that Palm Tran Connection operates, and how can people learn more information in general?
Sure. So you can learn more information going to our website, palmtran.org, or calling 561-649-9838. Palm Tran Connection it actually travels 7 days a week. We're open 7 days a week, except for the 7 major holidays. And essentially, weekdays are from about 5 a.m. till about 10:30 p.m. And weekends, Saturdays, we're about 6 a.m. till about 10:30. And then on Sundays, we're about 8 o'clock till about 9.
What do you think is the most common misperception about Palm Tran Connection in the community?
I think people think of Palm Tran Connection, number one, is for those disabled people, and I don't want to be on there. But really, it's public transportation for everyone that qualifies. The other thing is, it's not like Uber or Lyft. It's not a taxi service. You are going to ride with people you don't know, which is kind of funny when people think that well, it takes me 10 minutes to get there in car. Why aren't I getting there in 10 minutes? Well, it's a shared ride system, and you might actually meet a friend if you ride and become a public transit user. So.
Absolutely, and some friendly operators too. Thanks so much for being here, Lou, and providing all this great information today.
Great, thanks, Joe.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us here on Transit Works. Remember, you can find more information about everything you saw here at palmtran.org. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I'm Joe Harrington. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.